Um,
Okay.
I'm also happy to see you here. I can't see you here to follow you. Let me refresh my page. Oh, you were here. Sorry.
I'm over here on the boosting side of things.
Sorry, it gets a little bit time to get loaded. You shouldn't refresh.
Cool. Well, while we wait for that to load, does anybody else have any intentions or things they want to make sure we touch on? No? Great.
Yeah, in meantime, I can say that we applied a huge change on the subgraph and design of the GIVeconomy to fetch the information from the subgraph. Based on the, do you remember the thing that we were following, but Fabio said that we want to change it.
Yeah.
He gave us some ideas. I make it complete, and then we built on top of that a new repo for the backend, which is smaller and very more extendable, simpler, and also I refactored the front end, so it works. But I say it because first the code is more maintainable. And for instance, from the front end, we remove 150 lines of code. And yeah, the point is that if we want to test the Angel wall, we should be more careful to drop in other view pages. For instance, testing Giveth, I tested myself, but other testers should know that maybe there could be a reason for bugs in other parts.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, by the way, I tested, most of things are working well. We needed that refactoring someday, and we thought, okay, it's a good time. We are bringing in Angel Wall. Let's remove the complexities. After this, we can add any original farm, any new pool, very, very easily. Very easier than before.
Cool. Okay, well that's...
Sorry, Lauren, I don't know why it's not loading.
Mike, do you like to...
Sure, you can do it. Sorry. Yeah. I think I have connectivity problems with the Figma, sorry.
Maybe, does somebody else want to share Figma and share their screen?
I shared.
Sure, who's doing it? Yeah, you can go ahead. Please follow Lauren. Following Lauren? Yeah, okay.
Okay, hold on. I started making an issue, now I want to finish. Gosh, there's too much to do, you guys. All right, great. We're in the Figma. Can you see me in the Figma?
Yeah.
All right, great. Cool. Okay, so let's just walk through the designs and I'll talk about like how everything works. And then Amin, if there's anything that's like, coming up that like you see that needs to get developed for the back end or like for the subgraph, maybe you could just like stop us and we could create issues. And like if there's anything that needs to get changed in the design, I also want to make sure that it comes up in this call as well. Yeah, so basically if something is looking fishy or if it doesn't make sense and it's like impossible to develop, let's change it now. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
So give power. So with give power, you've got, so this is like, there's going to be a few pages that need to get changed. There's going to be the projects page and there's going to be some stuff in my account, as well as like adding a boost button to the project's multiple page. And yeah, so project single page and the my account and the projects page as well. So here, you'll be able to show, so like you'll be able to boost this project by clicking this boost button. And then you can either get give power or use existing give power. If you use your existing give power, and this is something like a little bit weird, you actually are going to give a percentage of your total give power to that project. And the rest of the projects will like proportionally decrease. So the second you boost, like you get give power, like if the user has never used give power first, they'll get give power. And then the first project that they give power to will get 100% of their give power. And then from there, if they're like adding to other different projects, it's like they're putting a percentage there, and then all the other projects proportionally decrease. Does that make sense? I mean, or in everybody?
Yeah, you know, so I hope Mohammed is here. So in my view, logically, basically, we only save percentage in our backend. You know, actually, whenever user change something, he save percent. For instance, he has allocated 20%, and if this 20% change the total, and you know, other allocation, other boosting of other projects become more than 100%, the others will be reduced respectively to the sum of all become 100%. Am I right?
Yep.
For instance, if we have only Mohammed, do you follow the conversation? You know, a user, any user, of course, has give power. It can be 0, okay, and he can allocate his power to projects. You know, I mean, what's the term? Allocate. What's the to projects? But it's not somehow this. But this. He decide how much to allocate to projects in percentage of his total give power, not the exact amount. For instance, if you have 200 give power and you want to assign 100 to a project, you tell the backend, okay, I want to allocate 50% of my give power to this project. Does it make sense?
Okay. I mean, you know, this has some side effects. Assume in creating when you talk about the percentage, you're talking about all the projects that has in this specific user own it. Am I right? So this amount of projects.
What do you mean own it?
The project owner, for example, you just. Oh, it's not related to the ownership of the project.
No. It's about regular give holders. Yeah, it's about give a stake, who has a stake on his token.
Can you explain more about the data model? We have a project view, we have a project table, and all the project, you know, maybe we add a column for give power for all the projects. Am I right?
Yes. Yeah.
And every project has some amount of give power in it. So it's when you talk about the percentage of the specific user, I don't know how we can model it. You said that a specific person, when you talk about the percentages, it's all about, you know, it should be in user ID, in the user table. So when we think about the user table, for example, we can add a field in the user table and have an array there and say, for example, project 1 have this amount, this percentage, project 2 has this percentage. And we have to have a kind of job to make sure that this percentage is going to be 100%. Am I right? Or
well, it'll always be 100%. Yeah, it'll always be 100%. So, like, the first project that a user gives give power to gets 100% of their give power. And then if they pick a second project, they can put 50% of their give power on that project. Then the first project will get 50%. It will go down to 50% in order to give the second project that 50%. And then maybe they want to give 20% to another project. So those two projects that had 50% will proportionally decrease. They'll each then get 40% so that they're now equaling 80%, and then 20% goes to the new project. I'm sorry if those numbers were confusing, but does that make sense? It's like, so 100% goes to the first project, and then every new project that gets added gets some percentage and all the other projects proportionally decrease. So they're still like the same kind of proportions. But this is the way that we ensure that like everybody, like all their give power is always being used, because sometimes their tokens will get unlocked and their give power amount will go down. Their total amount will go down. But we want the distribution, like the proportions on each of the projects to still be the same. We don't want to be like, which one do we take from? It just goes down proportionately for each project. Does that make sense?
Yeah. For me, yes.
It doesn't make sense for me. Sorry.
The give power is some volatile thing. It goes up and down, right? For instance, for each person. We take a snapshot every 4 hours and update user balance, right?
Where we save it? Where we gonna save it? It's on network only, huh?
In backend, subgraph does have it, right? Mm-hmm. We have it on subgraph, and our backend should update its values based on those values, based on new value. Every 4 hours
we have to so it's going to be total amount of each user. We have the total amount of give power for each user in 4 hours. Okay, so
we fetch it from subgraph every 4 hours.
Let's start from the 0 points from the beginning. I just want to stake half of my give power in a specific project. So what's going to be the impact graph service? I just say to the backend that for the project ID, for example, 95, I want to dedicate 50%. Yes. We just send these two amounts to the backend, and the backend said okay, and save it. Somehow in the backend. I don't know, in the project table or in the
somewhere. We will do it.
Okay. So for the rest, imagine that I want to call this service again for another project. What's happening? Do I have a default view for this boost existing give power or not?
Boost, what means default boost existing?
For example, can you see the screen that the Cherik is sharing right now? For the first boosting things, it has some meaning. For the second one, when I open it, assume that 50% of my give power has been boosted for the other projects, and I'm going the second one boosting. So it's going to be 50%. It shows me that you only have 50% things to dedicate.
No, it again shows you 100%. That's a little confusing. We should say that okay, you have used 50% allocated to this. If you add, allocate more than that.
Wait, let me jump in. So the first project you give power to will always get 100%. Like we need to have like another flow that like we don't see the modal in there right now, but I did leave a comment on it. But it's like if it's the first project the user is give power to, it will get 100% of their give power by default. So like they have no choice. The first project gets 100%. The second project can get 20%, and then that first project will go down to 80%. And so it's like, then, this like the modal we're looking at right now is the modal you see for every other project except for the very first one. The very first one, it could show something like this and be like, since it's your first project, you can give 100% of your give power there. It'll just be like a simple text thing and you can boost.
Okay, so this, we assume that this is the second one. Okay, when we just want to boost the second project and we, for example, we want to dedicate 50% of this, amount. So what we should call for the backend? I mean, for example, we say the backend, please change it from 15 to 50, and we send another project ID for it. And
when the user asks the backend to allocate 50% to this project, right? The backend gets it. It calculates the total power and reduce the rest. Get all the allocation that we had before.
What's the input? What's the input? We send the project ID and the percentage only. This two. Am I right?
Yes.
So, and we have to tell the backend that it's not the first time, it's the second time, because first time follow is totally different.
It knows itself. It knows itself because the first time, it's from the front end we say okay, it's 100%. We can make it simple. We don't need to have two different APIs. The backend, the front end says that okay, it's 100% allocated to this project. It's kind of simple, and we will have only one API in the backend that works for all the scenarios. Does it make sense?
Mohammed, are you with us? Mohammed, are you with us? Did you get it? We're going too far. Or?
Yeah, but our question that we don't want to save the boost data in the blockchain network. We just have it in our backend.
Not yet. No, just in our backend. Yeah, it's only in backend. First before pathing, I want to ask Lauren, please don't make allocate 100% to the first project. Please don't do it. It's so confusing. It makes it's very hard. For instance, consider this case. You have 100 give. You want to allocate 25 to each to 4 projects. You have 4 projects. You want to allocate equally to 4 projects, right? You want to allocate 25 to first, 2 second, and 4. It's very hard to manage in this scenario. You first you should go to the first project, allocate 100%. When you go to the second project, you should assign 50%. For the third project, you should say, okay, I want to allocate 33%. And for the fourth project, you should go to 25%. And it needs lots of math to equally distribute your reward, your give token too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we can, it would just require a different, we can't make it so that you click one project. Like the first time you're using Give Power, we can't allow the user to only use part of their Give Power. So maybe we need a different kind of flow where it looks different, where you make a cart or something of 4 projects. And then you're I want to give power to each of these 4 projects equally. Because that's something that can be possible too. But the user needs to always be using 100% of their Give Power, because otherwise, if their Give Power goes up or down, it's how do we change what the project's boosting is? It's we need to have 100% in use. So then if their Give Power goes up, it's proportionally goes up everywhere. And if it goes down, it gets proportionally decreased. So we can make the use case for the first project being boosted something different. And instead of being oh, you give 100% to this one, it's first time boosting, you get to add things to a cart. Or maybe we want this to just look different in the design. We haven't developed it yet, and maybe it's too confusing. I think it's taking a long time even for our team to understand. So I don't know.
I have an idea, would you please consider it? We can save the first percentage with the project ID in the backend. And, we get things updated with the total amount after that, in this 4 hours periodic updates on the backend. So we have the total amount of give. We have the percentage of the first, we have the exact amount of the first percentage. So on loading on this model, we have 2 numbers. The amount has been boosted before and the total amount. So we can say that, hey, user, you had been this amount of give and this percentage has been boosted before. So you have the rest this amount and you can decide what to do. And, the user have a sense, and with the playing with the design, we can show it to the user that this percentage has been boosted before. We can make it, for example, red or gray, that has a sense that the user cannot lower it anymore at this specific percentage. And the user is going to make it up down a little bit, and the front end can show it to the user that you're going to dedicate this amount to this project. And when they click it on save, you can calculate the exact amount of the give power and update the backend. So instead of working with percentages, I think that we're going to update the exact amount of give power within this 4 hour, updates. something like that.
I don't understand why you say that we should enter exact amount. Because, but why not percentage? We should show them, it's your value right now, but finally it's a percentage that should be saved there.
Keeping this amount, I think, because the total amount is also getting changes, and also the boosting thing has a problem. I think it's the best way that we somehow save the percentage, but we have no choice rather than updating the exact amount of the boosted give power after updating the total amount of give power from the network.
We will do it, every 4 hours. First, we get the give power of every user, and then based on the percentage, we update again projects. So every time user and project has the exact values, but they are changing, but the percentage are changed by user only. And about the assigning Lauren, I'm a fan of simplicity every time. I'm always try to make things simpler and simpler and simpler. I think about I told about my idea about please don't assign all the.
Sorry, I have to interrupt you. I gotta go. Sorry, guys, and I had another meeting. See you later. Sorry. Goodbye.
See you. Bye. And about the point that Monique said that which user should we know that. Okay, I was thinking even about a 2-color slider. For instance, if user has used 40% before, your slider has 2 colors, blue till 60% and the rest of the 40 be orange, for instance. And when user passes that 60% limit, we should show some message that, okay, you can assign more 70%, but the rest of project that you have allocated to them will get less proportionally after this. And even implementing this is not simple. It takes, for instance, I don't know, if we have Muhammad release, if I have a Sharik release, totally available, maybe it takes 1 week in my idea to implement this. The API, the calculation, fetching it from the subgraph, updating, and it's not easy, super easy to implement on this one. And when I'm saying 1 week, it's not achievable because Mohammed and Sharik are interrupted regularly. So even implementing this, maybe we will have it in 3 weeks or 2 weeks. My best estimate. So I think let's keep it simple. Go for something to implement first, and then decide what to do. Making it more complex and adding node and explanation on top of this makes the user confused. That's my view. I talked much.
So I don't. Are you suggesting that we leave it as it is right now, where the first project gets 100%, or you want to change it like you were saying, where they can allocate 25% and be like, you've got 75 left, and then you could allocate another 25 and another 25 until they've used 100%, and then after that, it's like proportionally decreasing. That's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we can do something like that. I am worried about it getting I feel like it is still hard to understand for the user, and maybe some kind of system where they add projects to their Give Power cart or something before allocating it all at once, So it's if you want to, at any point, if you want to change your Give Power, it's not like you're doing individual projects. I don't know. But I'm thinking okay, you add 4 projects to your cart, and then you're okay, I want to give my Give Power equally to each of them. And then it splits it up 25% each. This is kind of the page we have here right now is after the user's given some Give Power to each of these projects, they'll have the option in my account where they can click manage Give Power, and then they can change the percentages or change the amount allocated, and then it'll apply changes.
So
it's like,
we will have the option to remove a percentage, right? Remove allocation to a project, right?
oh yeah, you could just click the trash button. And then like the other ones,
Okay.
it's like we would need, like this would take like a little bit of like development work too. Like, because if, you know, you want all of these percentages always to total 100%. So it's like if you delete one, all these other numbers change. And then the user can change any one of them. And then, you know, they could change any of the numbers. And then like the last one has to get changed somehow, you know?
Yeah, I understand.
So yeah, I guess the question is like, do we want to make it so that like the user is always ending up at a page when they're boosting projects, they get like a page kind of like this where they add several and then they can change percentages? Or I mean, if they're just doing like one, should we just implement like what you were saying, like with like two different sliders as well for the instance of like it being the first project?
I think this one is essential and everybody will use, in my view, but the page that you said is useful. And I think it's essential to have the option of removing allocation.
Oh yeah, totally.
Also, I think if we want to have that page, we should maybe limit user on number of boosted projects, because if we add pagination, user lost the calculation between pages.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I wanted to mention that we should have some limitation on the percentage. For instance, you should not be able to allocate less than 5%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. That sounds good. So you can't allocate less than 5%, meaning that you can have a maximum of 20 projects. Or yeah, a maximum of 20 projects. Yeah.
I know it makes the calculation easier because, you know, at least, it's even, you know, round. We will have probably, I imagine we will have problem rounding in this, you know, expanding and decreasing the total values. And maybe the total percentage will not become 100, sometimes more, sometimes less. And we will have those kind of issues in the future.
Yeah.
Maybe we cannot allocate 900% exactly. Maybe 99.99.
Yeah. The other problem is that like GRIF wanted to make it so that when the user gets givebacks, like if a user donates to a project and then they get givebacks, he wanted their givebacks to automatically enter the Give Power system and go into boosting the project they donated to. But I think this is going to be very hard and confusing. Like,
yeah, it needs a smart contract implementation.
Yeah.
You know, it's basically a smart contract because here we have everything in percentage. So, okay, if his give power increases, the allocated power will increase, right?
Yeah.
So it's okay, but we should implement something in the maybe it's possible right now in the garden. You know, we wrap those tokens and transfer to the user. But about locking, we need a feature to make it locked and then be transferred.
Yeah, I think we can make it not locked. Like we could have it not locked right away. Have them just like go be staked, and then you know they get GGive or whatever, and they get give power, and then their give power automatically gets allocated to whichever project. Is it still going to be hard though? Can we make it so that
to project or users? You mean?
Yeah, like
project or
because
users?
say that a donor donated to two different projects, and they donated, and then they're going to get givebacks for both. But like we want to make it so that the givebacks they get goes into boosting both of those projects. So it's like the user would get, so it's like the user would get givebacks from donating, and then their givebacks, the liquid portion would automatically need to be staked so they start earning a yield, and then their give power automatically go to those two projects, like split up.
Giveth is not liquid.
Some of it's not liquid, but we will have the liquid
Yeah,
portion.
it's a stream. I mean, so it makes it harder.
Yeah.
We can. I don't. No, it's different. I don't think that it's possible.
Okay, cool.
It's just a smart contract.
Wait, so you think it's not possible at all? Because, I mean, if we have to cut it from scope, that would be nice. Although Griff would really like it. I feel like it gets very confusing. And then even to explain to the user that this is happening will require a bunch of extra design stuff. It's going to be crazy.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Okay, so let's make it not like that. Let's make it just easy for them. When they claim givebacks, they know about give power. We make like a modal or something. So Mo, if you're paying attention, I think like we need to add a little bit of like when the user claims their givebacks, once we put in give power, user will claim their givebacks, and then it'll have the option of like, it'll be like a modal that explains what's give power, and then they can go to the give power page to go stake, something like that. Do you hear me, Mo? Can you hear us, Mo? I can see you, but I can't. You're muted.
I can see you, but
just give me a thumbs up if you're listening.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. It's too hot here, and my laptop is getting too much hotter that it actually gets slower. It's 65 degrees right now. Okay. Yeah. I heard that, but just one issue. I think we already have that in our flow. When you actually get some give back, you can basically go to the farm and stake those give to lock them again and get more boosting. I think we have that already, right?
We do?
No?
I don't think we have it already, but we did talk about it already.
I don't think we have it already, but we did talk about it.
I can't actually load it right now in this second, but I think it's part of the flow for staking. That basically when you have some unlocked give, you can basically lock them again.
But this is like, we need something on the give back page. Then maybe we can. I think we didn't make any modals or anything, because I don't think I mean I never saw them. Maybe you can just make a note, and when your computer chills out, we can look at it.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, cool. So that sounds good for that givebacks thing. And then, so I guess what's our final decision on the first time the user boosts projects with give power? What do you guys think makes the most sense? Should it go 100% to the first project, or should we do it like with like some sliders where you can allocate 25% and see that 75% is still available?
You know my vote.
I do know yours. Tarek or Mohammed?
I think it makes sense to just force user to boost with 100% of their give power for the first time, and then next time we let them change that. Well, I mean, from the user perspective, why I couldn't choose them out the first time, and then at the second time I can choose? That's maybe a little bit confusing.
I think maybe showing a selector as a default value would be reasonable.
Yeah. Default values, default value with the total is not allocated. For instance, if you have allocated, for instance, 5%, it stands on 95%. If you have allocated 50%. If you have not allocated anything, it stands on 100.
Mm-hmm.
When I try to boost a project with GivePower, I tap on the boosting button on one project, and I just 100% boost the project with 100% of my GivePower, and I kind of think that this is something that I can use just on one project. And maybe it prevents me from tapping on that button again on other projects, because I think maybe if I support a project with 100%, maybe the next time that I tap on the same button, it will actually transfer all of those 100% to the next project, and it's kind of just work. It's like a like button that you can just like one item. It's kind of give the user that kind of feeling, I guess.
Yeah, I kind of like that for if we make it really, really simple for the first one. It's like they're just like clicking boost, and it's like, you did it. You boosted this project with a bunch of give power. And I guess, I don't know though, like of making it always an option, because if we made it always an option, it would like, somebody might accidentally, click the boost button and they didn't really want to remove support from all the other projects,
Mm-hmm.
Mohammed or Tarek, do you guys have any ideas?
I think it would not affect the technical side, and it's just a UX thing. We can start implementing and postpone the decision to last days, because I think it's just as my point of view from the backend side, I just get a percentage from front end. And it should be 50%. And I think we can maybe think about it, or even we can implement that with both options, and see our users, I mean the Giveth users, choose what decision.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, when the first time user can't change the percentage, maybe confusing for the user, as Mosaidi told. Yeah. So maybe this is a better idea.
Okay.
Actually, I'm just thinking out loud, but I think it's hard to make it work like the like button, but there is tons of issues behind that, because kind of don't know each time user tap on the boost, it should be just the whole percentage, or just a small portion, or what happened when user tap on boost on different project. There is some issues, but basically I think it makes it much easier for user to interact with the boosting. And I think maybe I'm not talking about just changing anything right now. Maybe we can still follow the same flow by letting user to choose the percentage. Actually, we can also work on this version for maybe the second version to update it later. Because I think there is different things that we have to think about before making any decision to make it more like a like button. But for boosting, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Actually, I think everything is retelling me previous comments that yeah, I think implementing even this. I think most of us vote for allowing user to have different percentage. And I think it's not the end of the story. We can change it later.
Yeah.
If we have some feedback. It's faster to implement and simpler, and then we can change it. I generally like to first implement something simple, working, and then collect comments from others to improve it, rather than defining something complex in the beginning and then, being stopped. Be stuck in lots of complexities to solve. Even implementing this one, I don't know, Mohammed, what's your idea? You want to implement it as part of Impact Power, or define another microservice to just manage this complexity and ranking, and because it needs to pull the subgraph every 4 hours, update the calculation, and it's not super, I don't know, do you want to add some complexity to Impact Graph, or no, have it in different database?
I didn't think about that. I should think more about that, and I would appreciate if we do we have a diagram to see what happens in the network and our backend and those things. I think most of us are not in the same page. For instance, someone like me or Monique that is not involved very well, like you, Amin, or Lauren, we are not in the same page.
You are right. You don't need much information. Just what's subgraph. From the subgraph, just only read the balance of something. One balance of one token. That's just that. That will be your power. You should every 4 hours you should fetch that value for the user. Just that.
Got it. And we don't need anything else from blockchain or subgraph. We just need a number and would update it every 4 hours. I should think about what you said about architecture. I don't know yet.
Yeah, in the meantime, if you have time, you can read the spec of the Give Power. I can share it to you. But you don't want to read all of that. Just one for hour, we get a snapshot of the power, and then that will be user power, and you should save the percentage to multiply it to that and apply it to the project. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, but what's the last decision?
I know, I feel the same.
Yeah.
What is the last decision? Last decision is that it needs more input.
I mentioned 3 things. Well, this is that, and
I think we need, excuse me, I think we can limit the user on 5% and have this page. Yeah, I think. And about here, maybe add just the boost button, and when user click on it, just boost. And maybe show a modal and ask him to go to the page and change the numbers there. I think it's simplest way.
That's an interesting idea. So it's like you could either like add to your maybe so you click boost and then it adds it onto your Give Power like my account page. And then you need to go to that page to change the percentages and then like save instead of having this like percentage modal. That's a cool idea.
That's what I was also saying, but I think that's something that we need to spend more time on deciding about it and make sure that we cover all of the edge cases, because we kind of think about this flow a lot and then we kind of find a lot of issues with this already. And if we are going to change it again, I think we have to spend some more time to make sure that that's actually okay and don't make things more complex and don't have any issue, any cases. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. We just hired a new comms contributors who helped a lot with like cool UX product launch stuff. So maybe I'll show this to her and see if she like fresh eyes, new user, doesn't know anything about it, has any suggestions, and we can kind of like improve a little the design. But let's just go back through like some of the like functionality, because I mean, whether we go with 100% at the beginning or less, eventually the user will have 100% on projects, and then it proportionally goes up and down as they get more Give Power and less. So I think like everything else will be the same as far as the development standpoint goes. Like Mohammed was saying, it's like backend is kind of like we can do either, you know. So we only have like 6 minutes left before the DApps call. So maybe let's just kind of like walk through the rest of the designs and see if anything else comes up. Unless there's any objections. Any objections? No? Okay. Cool.
So we added the we want to change the boost button to the change boost, right? Or something like this.
Yeah, maybe something like that. Like, or maybe the boost button is actually kind of like a add project to Give Power button, you know? Maybe. It's like you click boost and then they end up on your Give Power page, like your My Account Give Power breakdown, and then there you can change the numbers. But I think like the disadvantage of that anyway is that like we want people using Give Power right away and not have to go so far from the project page. Maybe like we have like the whole thing could come up as like a modal or something, but I think that we need to discuss a little bit more with some more like user type people and like UX people. Maybe Marco can have another look and can talk more about it with Mo.
As a suggestion, maybe if we decrease the number of boosted projects, for example, instead of 20, we use 10, we select the 10. Then maybe we can edit them in the modal instead of going to the...
That's actually like saying user, you can only like 10 products, for example. If you're on Instagram, for example, it's like saying that you can only like 10 photos. That's actually... That's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And you know, when we were talking about it before, we were talking about limiting the amount of projects to boost. And Griff was like, okay, well, let's at least have 30, you know? At least have 30. And that's already, you know, Amin wants 20. Sherrick wants 10. Griff wants 30. It's like, I don't know. But anyway, between 10 and 30, I think 20 is kind of a good number. But you're right, like it won't fit all in one modal, and it might be a little uncomfortable for the user to have like a scroll bar to have to go through all of them.
tell Giveth that we can go with 10 per 10 and then reduce that and see if you are satisfied with 20, and we can even make it less. We can reduce the limit.
Yeah. Okay, I'll tell them we're going with 10.
Yeah.
But the point is that if, for instance, we set, for instance, 5%, user assign 5% and then allocate 99% to another, it will become 1%.
Yeah. Yep.
So maybe it's better to put limitation on the number of projects, not the percentage.
Yeah, totally. I think that makes more sense. But we should have whole numbers. That, like, you can't allocate 0.5%. That's stupid. Maybe. Something like that. If we can create a limitation on the lowest number, I don't think you should be able to allocate like 0.25% of your give power. But yeah, now we only have 2 minutes left, so I'm just going to go really quickly through like what the rest of this looks like to make sure that everybody has like seen all the things. So the rest of the project single page, it's like we've got the total amount of give power, and this is the total amount of give power that people have allocated to the project. So it's like, this will change too as like people's give power goes up and down, like their individual give power, even if maybe their percentages didn't change, but then some give got unlocked, then this number would go down. But you can see the total give power, and then the rank is dependent on its give power. Like the top number 1 will be the most amount of give power. And actually what I'm thinking is that we adjust the ranking only once per round. So it's like at the end of the givebacks round, it's like new ranking updates. So based on the average give power throughout that round. Because you know how we were going to like take snapshots every 4 hours. And so as like people change their give power, it's like we get an average amount of give power. I think we should change the ranking only once at the end of the round. And then for the new round, we know which project is the top project. And so it basically encourages donors to donate to that top project because they'll get more givebacks. Does that make sense? Okay, well, damn, now we're out of time. So it's time for the DAPS call.
Yeah.
Man, okay, well, thanks for your time, guys. Maybe we can schedule another meeting later this week. Did you find this productive? I mean, we didn't get a lot done, but I think like talking through these ideas is getting us closer. What do you think?
Yeah.
I received lots of information. It was good for me.
Yeah.
I had no clue. Yeah. Thanks.
Same. Okay, cool. So maybe I'll try to schedule another call like later in the week, like maybe on Wednesday or Thursday we can talk again.
Good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks guys. We'll see you in the DAPS call.